Hey gang, I'm a big comics fan, as you can probably tell, although I kind of go through phases of being an obsessive comic books fan. My first love was 2000 AD, always has been, but in this sort of the DC Marvel schism, I've always been more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. Mainly because I've always thought DC were better for dipping in and out of. They're better at doing standalone stories with a beginning, a middle and an end, whereas Marvel seem to be obsessed with this kind of unbroken continuity going all the way back for decades. To the point where with Marvel Comics, you kind of get the feeling if you've missed a single edition since 1962, then you can't make head and tail of any of it. However, I am perfectly capable of admitting that which some DC fans cannot admit, possibly for entirely sectarian reasons, which is that the current crop of Marvel movies are way better than the current crop of DC movies. They just are. I'm sorry. There are many, many essays online as to precisely what's going wrong, but here are just 5 things I think that the Marvel Universe has that the DC Universe currently does not have. Number 1, patience. Here's the thing. You don't make a movie universe. You make a movie, and then you make another movie, and then you make another movie. And if they have common themes and plots and recurring characters, then you've got a movie universe. But you can't make a movie universe. Now, when Marvel made Iron Man 10 years ago, I know, 10 years ago. Oh, Christ, I'm old. Point is, when Marvel made Iron Man 10 years ago, apart from that one little teaser scene in the middle of the end credits, there's no hint that this is part of anything bigger. And if the movie had not been a roaring success, then it would have been a perfectly okay standalone movie. When it was a great success, they didn't think, woohoo, it was a success. Now we get to make the Avengers, although we really want to make the Avengers. They went away and made the other 3 movies you have to make before you can make the Avengers. And each of those movies works perfectly well as a standalone movie, albeit generally with a scene halfway through the end credits tying it into the whole. They're all perfectly good standalone movies. I know you've always wanted to make a Justice League movie. And I know once the Avengers is out, you were gagging to make a Justice League movie. But you weren't ready to make a Justice League movie. You'd made one average Superman movie, and then one really bad Superman movie with Batman in it. And that wasn't really enough to put a Justice League movie together. You got to make the movies. The universe will take care of itself. Number 2, humour. The Marvel movies, possibly because of the presence of Robert Downey Jr., have been full of zingers from the first scene in the first Iron Man movie. Thus far, the sole attempt at humour in any of the DC movies has been the thought, what if the Flash was really annoying? Number 3, emotional engagement. Batman v Superman. I'm watching a 2-hour movie in which 2 of my favourite characters ever have a violent disagreement and end up trying to punch each other to death. And I don't care. Justice League. I'm watching a scene in which Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman and the Flash club together to bring Superman back from the dead to defeat the alien warlord who otherwise will destroy the world. And I don't care. I'm watching Avengers Infinity War. I've got to the end. My heart is broken into several pieces. I'm in a cinema full of screaming, wailing, weeping children being placated by their parents, and I'm wondering if I'm ever going to feel entirely the same again. Number 4, proper character motivations. Alright, in Captain America Civil War, Tony Stark and Steve Rogers have a genuine disagreement on an actual matter of principle. And you can entirely sympathise with both points of view, which makes it all the more heartbreaking for all concerned, including you, the audience, when they finally come to blows. In Batman vs Superman, Batman doesn't trust Superman because he's from another planet. Batman and Superman fall out because basically Batman's a bit racist. Number 5, Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, single best bit of casting in movie history. He makes all those bloody movies work. Even the ones he's not in, he makes work. Because he sets the tone for the whole universe. His very presence creates just enough of a subversive subtext in the whole universe that there's just enough irony for you to get away with these kind of stories in a 21st century context without having to ladle tedious postmodernism all over the whole thing. Because Robert Downey is playing Tony Stark as a snarky little bastard, it means that Chris Evans gets to play Captain America absolutely Christopher Reeve straight. It means Chris Hemsworth can get away with playing Thor more or less straight. It means everybody else can play it absolutely straight down the line because he's always there slightly taking the piss. And what's brilliant is that it's not a comic performance. Right? People say that Robert Downey as Tony Stark is a great comic performance. It's not. What it is, it's a straight performance as a comic guy. Tony Stark is a very funny man, and Robert Downey Jr. is playing Tony Stark completely straight. What that means is when the joking has to stop, when the crisis hits, and Tony Stark has to pack it in with the one-liners and get serious, you don't get that weird jarring shift of tone that you sometimes get when you have a smart-mouthed hero who suddenly has to take it seriously. You see, it's all part of the same performance. It's so well done. And I don't know what the hell you do when he packs it in. I think you could do an Iron Man movie without Tony Stark, but I don't think you could do a Tony Stark movie without Robert Downey Jr. Not in our lifetime anyway. There you go. 5 reasons why the DC movie universe is currently floundering and the Marvel universe is currently rock and rolling. Or at least they were until they fired possibly their best writer-director because of a Nazi pylon. Rehire James Gunn, you numpties.